Okay. Okay, I'm going to start reading. So pay close attention. A tale, kelihatan oke kah di kameranya? Okay. A Tale of Two Sea Witches by Aditya Pradipta Wardana, 28 Mei 2013. The sunshine that penetrated through the surface of the water has begun to disappear as the route leads to a cavernous congregation of towering rocks and ancient ruins. The fish that explored the nooks and crannies of the underwater rubble swam away hurriedly, as if something lurks deep behind this maze of rocks. The path ends, and a beam of light glows from afar, tucked away under the ceiling of the caverns. The dulcet beams of light came from the dwelling of an infamous sea witch that the inhabitants of Atlantica feared, which were the remains of an immense leviathan known as a serpentine. Myriads ago, the serpentine served as a beastly amusement to a race of wretched sea creatures known as the Moray. The beast who had gone rogue and become enraged had to be put down. A crooked deal with the sea witch had made the titanic corpse a residence for her. The skeletal structure was ruined with age, and the bones were mangled and warped with rocks and corals, twisted and covered with algae. The light of soft violet glow seeped through the nooks and crannies of the bones and illuminated the area with a sense of haunting cautiousness and danger. The entrance is the mouth. The seemingly endless tunnel that is the mouth going down the throat is covered with withered-looking polyps that timidly shook and writhed with the movements of the water. They moan a broken rhapsody of lament as they try their best to prevent anyone from entering the serpentine, but their efforts were overwhelmingly in vain most of the time. At the end of the tunnel is a seaweed-curtained doorway that leads to the main dwelling, a purple-coated space covered with algae and knickknacks of the sea witch. A large conch shell hangs from the ceiling, and protruding out of the hollowness is a black tentacle. The tentacle slithers and stretches out, followed by the bulk of the weight, an immensely corpulent, lavender-skinned Sicilian with black tentacles. Ursula, as she was known, had short hair that grew from her scalp like silvery white fire, moving gracefully with the water. The face is aged and horrifying, the eyelids dark purple, the nose aquiline, and the mouth a gaping, vile-lipped vortex of greed with a set of strong teeth and a sly tongue, when opened, a tongue that has enticed many merfolk to strike unsavory deals with this oceanic charlatan. Around her bulging fat neck hangs a golden nautilus shell necklace, a treasure the sea witch guards and uses for her foul profession. A black dress drapes from her chest, covering her enormous breasts, and follows into shape with her 6 tentacles. She moves along the water daintily, each of the tentacles dancing its own way, and yet coordinating with each other. The witch swishes near her instrument of power, a cauldron that cracks open on her bidding and is the source of the vile, violet glow. She stretches in lethargy. "I suppose I better begin my daily routine," she says, her voice dark and deep with a horrifying rasp. Her vowels were drawn out, and each word spoken sounded menacing. "Oh yes, now, where is my breakfast?" she asks the emptiness with a sing-song voice. "Here it is, boss." The answer, or rather answers, were hissing out from the pitch-black darkness. It was the moray eels, Flotsam and Jetsam, Ursula's beloved minions and henchmen. On top of a small rock was a bowl of live krill that timidly trampled around each other, seeking to escape their untimely demise in the stomach of the witch. "Fabulous, my little poopsies," she compliments her minions, Swishing to the rock steadily, she looked hungry and grabbed a krill with her red-clawed fingers and placed it on her tongue and gave the death sentence as she slammed her mouth closed, followed by a loud crunch. She immediately feasted on the rest, leaving bits and pieces of the crustaceans floating around her. That was good. She chuckled, licking her fingers with satisfaction. She swam to her vanity table, a mirror placed upon corals, and applied a freshly crushed red-fleshed clam on her lips, giving them a bright red color. Now to business. What will we be up to today, darlings? She asks rhetorically.
Try to take over the kingdom, mistress,
hissed one of the eels. No, I don't think I feel like conquering kingdoms today. Such a tiring pastime. Did you spot any customers?
No, boss,
answered the two eels. Oh, how pathetic, she whispered to herself, placing her hand on her fat chin. She swishes her hand to open up her cauldron, but it fails to open. Darn thing, she mutters. She tries it again and it opens up. The cauldron projects scenes from around the ocean, and Ursula scans them one by one with her observant eyes. What's this? Ursula uttered in an excited tone. Why, if it isn't my old chum. Oh dear, I wonder what she is doing traveling from another dimension and all. Must be on an important errand, she says, looking at her eels. What if she's coming for a visit?
Oh, look at this place.
Look at it with a horrible mess. Flotsam, jetsam, clean this place up at once. The eels respond to their master's raised commands with terrified faces and rushed to do her bidding. They lifted bottles and jars from the floor and swept off bits and pieces of food floating about. That water hag never calls me before she visits. Well, I suppose I'd better play the happy hostess. After all, I don't receive that many guests, she says, shrugging. After decorating the walls with some seaweed she had harvested from her yard, she waited in her large conch shell perch to give a theatrical welcome to her old friend. The two were acquainted as ambitious, younger but not better-looking witches on an exchange program decades ago, and had made occasional visits to each other's realms over the past few years. Ursula sat there for a good 15 minutes.
Where is that sniveling serpentine sea snake?
Always late, always, Ursula complained, filled with contempt.
Who is always late?
The voice that responded was a hoarse, almost melodious voice coming from the doorway. Entree, darling, Ursula said with a sudden change of tone. Don't lurk in doorways now, she says, slipping out from the shell. It's rude. A slim and slithering figure swooped in. It was Lady Vaj, the long-awaited guest. Under the violet light, her sallow blue skin and scales looked considerably greener and darker. She had a fair visage, for she used to be an elven handmaiden whose kingdom had been banished to sink into the seafloor and its denizens warped into power-hungry reptilians, the Naga. Her eyes were white. Her hair were snakes, one of which is a moray eel that is acquainted quite well with Flotsam and Jetsam. She had 6 arms with elongated fingers and sharp reptilian claws. Her torso and up, generally speaking, were almost human except for the aforementioned features. But waist down, she is by any means a true serpent. Her body is decorated with plates of armor. Her ornate nature had always been the envy of Ursula.
It's been so long,
greeted Vaj, smiling, revealing her sharp teeth. The two approach each other and kiss each other's cheeks distantly. Oh, it definitely has. Come in, please sit down and make yourself at home. Ursula led Vaj near her vanity table, where a flat rock, acting as a table and hosting a bowl of clams, sits between 2 chairs made of coral.
I'm sorry my coming is unannounced, but I'm sure you've anticipated my coming from a medium. The Queen sends you her best regards, Vaj said. Ah, yes, a dear darling Queen of yours. Please send her the best of mine, then. Oh, I certainly will. Oh, I do love your lair, Ursula. It's so simple. Unlike the Coilfang Reservoir, it's so large, with all the columns and hallways. I get it, you got a fancy place, Vaj. Oh, I didn't mean to brag. I really did mean that I adore your little grotto. Well, thank you, Ursula said, rolling her eyes slightly. So how's the banishment going? Ursula slapped her own forehead. Must you bring that up every time? My dear, it is not a little-known fact that creatures like us are subjects of damnation. I don't see why it's such a difficult thing to admit. Well, it's different for you and I, Vaj. You can command an army. You've got your own palace, and all I've got is this lair and my eels. And no one ever remembers my birthday. Ursula's rage-filled voice wilted at that last sentiment. Oh, that's not true. I sent you a prawn mail, reminded Vaj, grabbing a clam from the bowl and devouring its contents in one slurp. I know you did, thank you, Ursula said in a lamented manner. Oh, come now, Ursula. You mustn't be so upset. It's quite tiring to be me. I had to make several trips to the land and go on missions. Do you know how much I hate the surface world? It's far too bright. I keep tripping over my damn tail, and the fresh air irritates my eyes. If it wasn't for my hard work, I wouldn't have landed on Serpentine Cavern. Plus, I'm still working. The water pumps won't build themselves, you know. Oh, I can't imagine how tired you must be. Oh, it's sheer hell, I tell you, wept the Naga. Oh, there, comforted Ursula, carefully patting Vaj's armored shoulder as she sobbed. It's an achievement, my dear. A big step for fellow sea witches. I couldn't have done it. I mean, if I had to supervise the workers and all that fuss, I'd crawl up to the surface world and sell myself to a sushi bar. And yet, here you are. You still exist, and you still prevail. Vaj sniffed in between sobs. I suppose you have a valid point. Oh, but it's not so bad, working for Master Illidan and Queen Ajara, Vaj points out, wiping her tears. The wage is pretty decent, and you get dental insurance. See, a silver lining, Ursula said in a sing-song voice. Oh, Ursula, how is that sister of yours? What's her name again, the one that lives up in the Arctic? Asked Vaj. You mean Morgana? Oh, I wouldn't know. We're not exactly close, said Ursula, drifting away and looking the other way. We never were. She was always so jealous of me. You see, Mummy knew that I was a more talented child. Morgana tried her best, but she never could hold an abyssal jellyfish to be. Well, you sound pretty confident, Ursula. Well, I've tried to patch things up, but it never seems to work out. She was always so terribly difficult. Unlike you, retorted Vaj sarcastically. Don't be fresh with me, warned Ursula, but not giving that much thought to the insinuation. Oh, perhaps you're right. I am often a difficult individual, but it isn't easy to be me, Ursula says, swimming directly in Vaj's direction. It isn't easy to be powerful, sister, Vaj adds in a sorrowful tone. I suppose that's where us sea witches are at our weakest, when we are at our strongest. At the end of the day, does it really matter that we're able to shoot lightning and terrorize landlubbers? Oh, yes, exactly, Ursula responded. I mean, who is there to appreciate us at the end of the day? Our minions? They live to serve us. No one genuinely respects us, Vaj. Exactly. Oh, what a world, moaned Ursula, placing her hand on her forehead, sitting down in her shell. Vaj sighed in exasperation. Aren't we just very depressed? Ursula grabbed the bowl of clams and devoured about 3 handfuls. But I am lucky, I guess, added Vaj in a much uplifting tone. I live near many other priestesses of the tides. I'm thankful about that. How is Lady Serpentra? Is she well? Asked Ursula. Dead. Quite a long time ago, actually, in the ruins of Dalaran, defeated and killed by the Night Elves. Oh, pity, pity. She was a talented priestess of the tides. She was. She was a military general, you know. Really? Quite an honor to receive. Yes, quite an honor. Ursula looked at her friend with a pondering glance. Vaj? Yes. What if you end up like her? Dead, you mean? Yes. Well, hopefully I'd be resurrected at the altar. What if you won't? Well, then I'd be dead, I suppose. And for what? To serve your masters? Of course. What else? Don't you have plans of your own, Vaj? Kingdoms you can conquer on your own and rule with 6 iron fists? I already do have a kingdom and a battalion of soldiers and spellcasters. Oh, these things were given to you by your queen, by your master. I mean, have you no desire to achieve them on your own? Are you implying that I am not creative? I'll have you know that the war tactics... No, darling. I mean, you didn't plan everything out of your own reasons. You are a servant, and you have to keep working with your rewards. I like being servile and working with my rewards, answered Vaj, though in a rather unsure tone. Do you? Said Ursula, floating off and facing the other way. Vaj sat still, stone-faced. I did have a kingdom of my own, uttered Vaj. Her expression was blank. Vajir. It had been the kingdom of my mother and my grandmothers before her. My mother Lishtaria brought 100 years of prosperity to the kingdom. I could still see her, standing all prim and proper, stern-faced, and every word spoken was with utter conviction. I had thought that I'd be next in line, and my mother certainly had such hopes too. But to be the handmaiden of Queen Ajara, why, it was such an honor that Mother even pushed me to accept such a position. Are you ever sorry you accepted that position? Asked Ursula. Vash sat still, stone-faced. Seconds later, her 1,000-mile stare was cut off with a soft hiss. No, of course not. Look at me now. I am a matron like my own mother was. Ursula smiled deviantly. Have you ever thought of what it would be like if things turn out differently? Vash looked at Ursula with much resentment. Are you trying to strike a deal with me? A favor, more like it. Come on, Vash, let me take that desire and make it real. I won't cheat you with friends, after all. I refuse to be a customer, Ursula. No offense, but I am quite content with being who I am now. And the writhing garden of polyps in your corridor is not convincing, public relations-wise. Well, suit yourself then, digressed Ursula, carefully tidying her cabinet of potion ingredients. I think we both have similar roots of power, our mothers. It's true, don't you think? Asked Ursula. Ah, yes, you mentioned your mother earlier. Was she involved with your spell-casting education? Oh, yes, she gave me the pointers, ABCs. My sister was less fortunate. Morgana wasn't the kind to take criticism very well. Oh, poor dear. Vash grabbed the last clam and devoured it before Ursula had the chance to grab it. Ursula noticed it and sneered a bit. And you were always a prodigious child? Well, I'd hate to brag, but of course you hate to brag. Ursula rolled her eyes, but again digressed at the singer. I suppose I respected my craft. Morgana was quite sloppy. I don't think she'd be able to do anything big, like take over Atlantica or steal Triton's trident. I think it's highly impossible. Why do you think so? Oh, Morgana cannot control her hunger for power. She'd be too overwhelmed with herself instead of the actual goal. And that's not what you would be? Ursula turned her head to Vaj. From what was a rather straight line, turned into a confident upwards curve. Why, of course not.
Vash looked at Ursula with one brow scrunched up and the other perched high above her silver white eye.
I certainly hope so anyway, said Ursula wistfully. Of course, I haven't been to such a momentum yet. I believe my time will come soon.
I certainly hope so, uttered Vaj, still with the same expression.
Well, Vaj uttered, lifting her many arms, it's been quite a lovely visit, but I really must be going.
Oh, so soon? And you've only eaten so little.
I'm watching my figure, responded Vaj, smiling and glancing at Ursula's belly.
You're wasting away!
Ursula's laughter was a personal kind of satisfaction. I'm being awaited at Zangarmarsh. We had to pump the waters for our reservoir, our new home. Ta-ta, Ursula dear. We'll meet again soon, I hope.
We will. Kiss, kiss, darling. The two kissed each other's cheeks distantly once more, and Vaj's serpentine silhouette slithered off in a matter of seconds and disappeared between the wall of seaweed. Ursula stood at the mouth of her lair, her arms crossed, in her mind pondering through the words that her friend Vaj had uttered before at her own. She never really had the chance to talk about the things she's interested in, for the few guests she would have are more or less customers who would only talk about what they want.
That was nice, she said plainly.
As she swam back to her lair, the polyps in her garden shivered in terror. She looked at them for a while, plain-faced, and what was a straight line turned into an upwards curve.
Poor unfortunate souls.
Okay, I'm done. Now, let's see what you have created.